Welcome back, you guys. It's DJ Jerica, and I just actually dropped the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify for all my people, and it's also on YouTube. Wherever you guys are watching, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Now, on this episode, we're going to talk about a few topics. We're going to discuss Wendy Williams, and we're going to also discuss the violence that's going on in the subways in New York City. Man, it's just been absolutely insane. And it's very graphic. So just a warning and a disclaimer for anybody that's out there with children. I don't think kids should probably be listening to this episode. If you're okay with them listening, that's up to you. That's up to your own discretion. But I'm starting to take on more worldly topics and on this show outside of just celebrity news and gossip. I really want to discuss certain things that's on my mind, and I want to be much more engulfed and get deeper with the audience, with you guys, because at the end of the day, I'm human. I see things, and I just don't feel like in this day and time you can just ignore what's going on in the world. So we're going to just discuss some things, and I want you guys to make sure you stay tuned right now. This is the DJ Jerica podcast where we talk about entertainment news, world news, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in all over the world. Now let's get into it. So Wendy Williams, yo, oh my goodness. Wendy Williams was spotted multiple times, and videos of her has surfaced all over social media and is circulating social media. And the first video that we seen of Wendy Williams, she was actually out, and this is over the past week. She was out with her nephew, and she went to a restaurant, was picking up some food, and fans spotted her, and she had greeted them inside the back of her truck that she was in. Of course, Wendy Williams, she was always being chauffeured around before her diagnosis, and everyone's like, okay, so if you guys aren't aware, I'm pretty sure everyone in the world should know by now. Wendy Williams has been dealing with some health challenges, reportedly, allegedly, and her family did documentaries documenting and showing the world of Wendy's multiple different health issues and struggles. And it was announced, I would say last year, that she was suffering from early onset dementia. And it was very tragic and sad, and the viewers and fans out there are just so, in distress about the situation, because of course we love Wendy Williams, and if you're in the media realm or you're anybody that's instant entertainment gossip, we know that she is the queen of all media, and we got to see her in the back of the car, but we didn't know exactly. You can see somebody and they could greet you even if they're going through mental challenges or whatever situation, but more news broke and more videos of Wendy Williams surfaced on the web of her at her son's Kevin Jr.'s graduation from college. He was graduating with a law degree. I believe it was being reported. And Wendy Williams was showing emotion. She was standing up. And if you guys don't know the history of Wendy Williams, her health challenges, she had lymphedema, which caused her foot to swell, so it made it so it's hard for her to walk. And she showed it to audiences, just showing during her documentary and things of that nature of how swollen her foot had gotten, while her health continued, her mental health continued to decline before it got worse. She showed us those health challenges that she was going through. So we seen video footage of Wendy Williams with her sister, her father, and her son and her nephew, everybody in her family, including her niece. And the second clip that we seen, of course, was her at the graduation. And that's there she's seeing more clips of Wendy Williams at the graduation where she was standing up, clapping for her son. And then we see pictures of her outside of the graduation with, it appears to be a security guard or something like that. And, it was like, okay, well, it's good to see that she's actually getting out. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it was reported last week that by her, what they call it, her handler, I'll call her a handler, that allegedly she was incapacitated. So everyone was like, when you say incapacitated, that means that you don't have the ability to function, to move or operate by yourself. And basically you're bedridden and people are waiting for you to check out of here. So everyone on the web, fans alike, were panicking. But, this was the second time that this report was placed out in the media in regards to Wendy Williams and her health. And Of course, she has someone, and I'm going to call him their handler, a handler, who watches, or guardian. That's the proper term for it. A guardian, who's handling her affairs that she's supposed to be living with and is in control of her living spaces. And when we seen the Wendy Williams documentary, it appears that she was not living with family. She was placed in some type of living home. She was living by herself in her apartment, but eventually they put her in a transitional home, and her family was having issues connecting with her. So it was just great for us as fans to see her out with her family. We haven't seen her in like over a year. So it was just like, okay, like it's good to see her again. And of course, with us seeing her as fans, we're just hoping that we don't want to accept the diagnosis. Of course, you guys, like I said before, she was reportedly diagnosed with early onset dementia, and it was reportedly alleged that it was due to alcoholism or something like that. But we've seen her struggles, and it was just so heart wrenching to see that, and just basically watch her have a downfall like that. But the best part is about the situation is that now we're seeing that her family is now stepping in, because on the documentary it seems as if they were on the outs, and the guardian was basically taking over her entire estate, and it seems that she was being forced away from her family. So it's good to see her with her family. We've seen clips as well after they had left the graduation that Wendy Williams went out to eat, and there was actually a report put out by a blogger who reported on the story as well, and they said that they were in company with Wendy Williams. There's more than one person who said they were in the company of Wendy Williams, and we had a clip of Wendy Williams with her nephew giving out gifts for the holiday season, and she offered him a hat, and she had asked him if the hat fit him, and he had dreads on, and he was like, no, that's not going to fit. And then she offered him his t-shirt, and the t-shirt had a logo that said Starbucks on it, and she was like, well, would that fit you? And he said yeah. So she was showing that she could still communicate and have an actual intellectual conversation in some nature of knowing exactly what's going on around her. And she knows, she was mentioning family members as well during her conversation. So it seems as if she has a sense of memory still with her. And we're in a different age. It's 2024. If this was maybe 10 years ago and she got this diagnosis, I'm pretty sure she'd probably be far off progressed. But with modern technology and medication and things of that nature, you can literally hold off a disease for a pretty long time with the proper medication. And I'm hoping that is the case with Wendy Williams. I'm hoping that her family was able to fully intervene and get her on the proper medication for her to live a more fruitful and happy, productive life, versus what the Guardian is claiming to all the social media blogs, that this woman was incapacitated. Now, another clip that had got me as well is we seen Wendy Williams. She went to a restaurant. It was a Jamaican restaurant, the commentator had said, and they said that she wanted Jamaican food. And that is a good thing if she was the one that requested the type of food that she wanted, because it's also showing that she has some type of cognitive ability. She understands what's going on, and she's able to decipher what she likes and what she doesn't like. And also with that means that she's feeding herself. And when you have certain diseases and conditions like Alzheimer's and dementia, you lose your cognitive ability. Certain things you can't eat, you can't swallow, you can't feed yourself. And it appeared in the video clip that Wendy Williams was very much healthy enough to be able to decide, I want Jamaican food, to be able to feed herself, and she was surrounded by family and friends. And no matter what the condition is, when you have a health crisis, and I know from my personal experiences, it makes life better when you have family around that loves you and cares about you and checks on you. And there's times when you have a health condition, sometimes they're just not there. And you have to really try to mentally focus and really be like, okay, they're not here for me, but I have to be here for myself. I have to make sure that things are right for me because I want to be here. And it's a personal experience, and that's just my experience with the health crisis that I've been in and dealt with over the past year. And seeing Wendy Williams surrounded by her family, knowing people by their name, it appears to be that. And it's nice. It's nice to see. And that doesn't mean that she's not suffering from dementia. But it's a sign of hope that she could live a much longer life than what the life expectancy is for an average person with dementia. So, people are saying, oh, hopefully she could podcast again. We don't know. Anything is possible. If you're a believer, you have faith, you pray to God. Maybe maybe if she's on enough medication, they can revert whatever happened, because it seemed like her downfall happened in like a year, and then they were like, oh, she got dementia. So hopefully they caught it early, and in enough time for her to be able to sober up. And her son actually wrote up on social media that she's sober now as well, confirming that his mother is doing way better than she was before. And he had wrote a comment about everybody else speaking about his mother. He says, while I'm here, quick update on my mom. She's sober and wants to come home. We're fighting to make that happen because isolation is killing her faster than anything else. And that was from her son, Kevin Jr. And he put out that statement. He put out that statement this past week. Well, everybody was just like in awe and happy to see Wendy Williams doing much better health-wise. So, I just feel like if she stays on this path, we will have Wendy Williams for the next 5 to 10 years to come, as long as the family is taking care of her and it is not a guardian. Because I just feel like I don't know, it's just something about that guardian that I just don't care for. I mildly report on Wendy Williams, but I just feel like every time the Guardian puts out a statement to the media, it's always something negative about Wendy, and it's always like, oh yeah, she's incapacitated, she can't move. Like I did a report earlier in the year, and they said that about her, and we believed it because we ain't seen her. And then they put out this report, in October? What was that? It was recent. It has to have been in the past 2 months they put out that statement. It was like November, December, somewhere around there, saying that she was incapacitated. Then all of a sudden we start seeing her out and about, And, she was getting assistance with mobilized wheelchair. She was getting a mobilized chair or whatever. But, she was getting around, and also was video footage of her walking as well. And she had identified Biggie Smalls music when she was standing talking to someone as well. It looked like they were in like a room or some type of party or event, and she was interacting and having conversations. So I'm wishing Wendy Williams the best. I'm wishing her nothing but the best in life, and I hope, for anybody with a chronic medical illness, you just got to stay strong. You got to try to connect with family. I know that she's not I guess I would say in the right mind of state to be able to make decisions like that. But it's really about the family staying strong and not letting any guardianship or any type of bank, because, they were saying, like, was it Wells Fargo was holding her money and making it so she wouldn't have access to her funds to pay bills and stuff like that, or allegedly, but the family unit, the Wendy Williams family unit is so strong. And you could tell that her family loves her. And with that gives me hope that she's going to be around for a while. And maybe a miracle will happen. Maybe she might not be able to do an actual show, but maybe she could pick back up the hobby of talking and doing radio, and maybe doing her own little conversations, even if they're for 10 minutes. That will probably help her more or less to even prolong her life as well, because she's actually using her mind, and she's using, her brain and communicating with people. That, keeping that communication skill up is, I think that's, I'm not a doctor, but I think that also makes a person want to stay alive longer. And it makes them, it makes it so they jot their memory, and you start to remember more things outside of, the progression of the disease. So, and yeah. So I want to say, if you guys are still tuned in and you guys are enjoying the show, make sure you guys follow me on the platforms you're listening, whether it's on the streaming platform, audio based, or if it's on YouTube. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. I want to thank you guys for one big reason. We're almost at 30,000 subscribers. That's right, 30,000 subscribers. We are at 23,140 last time I checked subscribers on YouTube, and I thank you guys more than you ever know. I am so gracious and just so humbled and thankful. And the overall channel has had 7 million views on YouTube alone. And I mean, I could go through my analytics and everything else that I've done on other platforms, but I want to specifically thank my YouTube family for making that happen. And I'm hoping on Facebook we can do the same thing too. I'm going to try to be more consistent with my work. I have a lot of things going on in my life, but I want to rededicate myself back into this media platform because I know I belong here. All right? It's been a while, but I'm back. All right? So make sure you hit the sub button now.